During a crisis, there is often more than one decision being made, and depending on the length of the crisis and the life of the crisis, your business may require more long-term ongoing adaptations. It's important when a decision is made that the team can quickly adapt and make new priorities as well as remain flexible, fluid, and ready for the next change. Crisis involves many unknowns and surprises, as well as continuous navigation. In dissecting our failures, we talked briefly about end goals or desired outcomes. Looking back to your end goal, it's important to prioritize your decisions based on what is going to support that end goal and provide a bridge to get it. If your business is not affected by regulations or mandates, consider operating it as if you were. Just because there is not an announcement from a governing body does not necessarily mean it's safe for your employees, your vendors, your customers, or ethical for you to continue operating along the lines of business as usual. As we talked in my first class, Crisis Communications, it's important to plan for future disruptions to your business plan and incorporate operation modifications so that you can operate smoothly if there is another interruption. And during COVID, it's important to continue to adapt and prioritize as we continue to navigate. Do you have your policies set? What types of processes and procedures need to be in place, and how are you communicating those to your customers, your team, your vendors during a crisis? Now, we talked about this in the first class, Crisis Communication, but when you're faced with a crisis, you need to quickly glance over at that crisis communications plan that you made and make sure that the policies set make sense for what you are facing. It's important to decide what not to do. In the immediate moment of facing a crisis, you know what you need to do, but have you determined what not to do? Looking at your end goal, you must quickly take account of what will not get you there. When the pandemic hit, one of my restaurant clients had a goal of simply to be in business at the end of it. They made very calculated choices when it came time to reopen, allowing other neighboring businesses to open first, and watching their mistakes, and then adjusting their processes before they opened. They decided not to jump into anything right away. You need to throw out yesterday's playbook. What works for your business and your team in a normal environment generally won't work during a crisis. Corners may need to be cut, processes may need to be adjusted, and communication to your team is going to have to adjust as well. Your team might need more from you than a normal time and space in your business. Your customers might need more from you. Your suppliers might not be able to supply the components and ingredients that you need. You might need more from them than they can offer you, and you might have to find some new ones. Everything that you have come to expect from yesterday cannot be expected during a crisis. Strengthen your connections. Your connections should be a priority during a crisis. Connections with your suppliers, your team, your customers, even your neighboring businesses. When the COVID pandemic hit, one of my girlfriends that owns a grocery store in a small town could not find a supplier for toilet paper or other cleaning essentials. The same problem that everybody, whether you're a business owner or a consumer, was having across the country. The owners of a grocery store across the street from her, a direct competitor, found a supplier for the products that were in need. And because the two store owners had a good relationship, they shared. They figured out the more supplies in their little town, the better off everybody was. During a crisis, make sure to take the time to smile, to say thank you, to extend a helping hand, and even if there isn't much time to do so, do the little things that can help to strengthen those connections, as your success during a crisis can sometimes depend on an employee that can work an extra hour or two, or a supplier that can get you an extra box of something, or a neighbor that can split a cost.